Very good morning, respected Dean Madam, my dear faculty colleagues from Shri Vaishnav Vidyapeeth Vishwavidyalaya, and all the panelists and participants who joined here for the case writing workshop. A very good morning from my side to all of you. We are so lucky to have our Honorable Vice Chancellor Sir as one of the facilitators. I just wanted to give a brief introduction of Sir to all of you, and then we will request Sir to give and proceed with the session. Sir, can I proceed?
ठीक है, इंट्रोडक्शन की जरूरत नहीं है. आपका इंटरनल कितने इसमें से 12 में से?
सर इंटरनल 3 है सर.
9 are joining first time.
Yes sir. We have 21 sir. I don't know, they might be on the way or they are joining. 21 participants sir.
चलिए quickly.
Meanwhile, you can give them a tinkle and find out whether they are joining or not.
Sure.
जो ज्यादा हुए उनको लाइब्रेरी भेजना चाहिए. तो फाइल ही करोगे, देखी जाएगी। आईनी की फाइल ये साइन ये फॉर्म से पढ़वाओ, रिपोर्ट है, ये भी रिपोर्ट है, ये तो दोनों सीओई को जाएगी। नोट लिखे ना, इनमें क्या है,
खतरी है सर, इसको रिलीव किया है।
बहुत पुरानी बात हो गया, क्या करना है।
देखो ड्राइवर की जॉइनिंग रिपोर्ट, ड्राइवर की जॉइनिंग रिपोर्ट। ये अनुश्री का
क्या है इसका, कोई ग्रेजुएटी
एक बच्ची है वो रजिस्ट्रार डिस्कस,
क्या चाहते हैं,
वो एक अपने विनोद पाल है।
चाहते हैं
ये इसका सर वो इंक्रीमेंट को वो चेंज करना।
तो इसके ऊपर उन्हें कुछ यादव
यस
डिस्कस करना होगा।
हाँ,
वो नीचे भी कुछ है,
वो तो लड़की आई थी ना सर, इसका मतलब आई तो यहीं पर
आएंगे तो बताएंगे। चलो यार, इसको कुछ टाइम वेस्ट कर रहे हैं। चलो भी टाइम वेस्ट मत करो आप, लेट अस स्टार्ट।
जी जी सर, जी सर। So good morning, everyone. Again, we just wanted to request Honorable Vice Chancellor sir to please start this session and give our introduction session too.
Good morning to all of you. See, some of you must be already knowing that we have been organizing this case writing workshop for more than 25 years now. We had started it in May 1997, and 2 workshops are conducted every year. So far, more than 2,000 faculty members have been benefited by attending this workshop. See, the purpose of this workshop is to have the hands-on experience on how to write a case study. As most of you must be knowing, that case method is one of the important pedagogies which is used in various disciplines. It has been used in medical education for a very long time. As we know that in medical education or medical practice, each patient is a case, and each case is treated, handled, diagnosed first independently. So mass diagnosis does not happen. It is one by one, so case by case. Then case method has also been used for a long time in legal education, picking up the actual cases which have happened in the court of law and which have been documented. So to draw learnings from those actual cases, what was the situation, what was the argument of the two parties, and then what kind of judgment was made. Harvard University, as all of you must be knowing, is one of the largest and most prestigious universities in the world. Harvard University started its School of Business, which is called Harvard Business School, in 1908. And first dean felt that case method should be adopted in management because it is the appropriate method for having an interface between theory that is taught in the class and practice that happens in the world of work, maybe industry, maybe non-profit organizations, and so on. So far as management education is concerned, it was first time introduced in Harvard Business School. From Harvard Business School, it traveled to other business schools in the world and became one of the popular methods because it was found to be very effective in understanding various concepts of management. So here in case method, actual situation is picked up, put it in a narrative form to understand the situation. So far as India is concerned, so far as we are concerned, it came with the second IIM. The first IIM was established in Calcutta in 1961 and help of MIT, Massachusetts Institute of Technologies, School of Business, that is Sloan School of Business was taken. So Sloan School of Business facilitated our country in establishing IIM Calcutta, which was the first IIM. And in Sloan School, more emphasis was on quantitative methods. So with the result, IIM Calcutta inherited that focus, more focus on quantitative method. Just after 2 months in 1961, same year, second IIM was established in Ahmedabad, which was established with the support of Harvard Business School. So naturally, since Harvard Business School is was the first home for case method, so case method automatically came to India with IIM Ahmedabad. Initially, faculty used to give case assignments, minor projects to the students to develop cases, Indian cases. And gradually, some more people started getting interested in writing Indian cases because it was felt many times students in Indian context were not able to identify with a situation that was prevalent in, say, in West. From Harvard, it traveled to other business schools in India. Again, from IIM Ahmedabad, it traveled to other business schools in India. At that time, in 1960s, 1970s, India didn't have many business schools, very few. We could count them on fingers. Therefore, faculty of that generation used to go abroad, particularly United States, and complete MBA there, and then come back. Even consortium of business schools, which was in West, which was there in, say, which constituted leading business schools at that time, like Harvard Business School, Massachusetts, and so on, and other business schools, they made a consortium to facilitate the development of faculty. And they used to offer a sandwich MBA program for about 3.5 years or so, 3.5 months or so for the teachers, which was by rotation held at different places. So in 1960s, 70s, many teachers of that time went to these universities and completed that sandwich program, which was called ITP, International Teacher Program. Later on in IIM Ahmedabad, on the same lines, a program was started, again a sandwich program for teachers, but for the duration of 9 months. And instead of calling it ITP, it was called FDP. That FDP is still being offered by IIM Ahmedabad. But then initially it was started for 9 months, but later on it was felt that many institutions are not able to relieve their faculty for a long time, because faculty had to come and join this program with paid leave for 9 months. So in many places it was becoming difficult, and faculty crunch was also there at that time. Therefore, this 9-month program was reduced to 3.5-month program. It is now being offered, even today being offered, but now it is 3.5 months. Intention is to orient the faculty to management teaching, particularly those who have come from the allied disciplines like commerce, management, psychology, engineering, and so on. Well, in some of the Indian universities, cases initially few cases were taught, were used in the class, but they could not become part of the examination system. But later on, you can say in late 80s, some of the universities, including Devi Haja University, took the initiative of including cases not only in the curriculum formally, but also in the end semester examination and trimester examination those days. So in Devi Haja, we had Institute of Management Studies, IMS, and director of IMS had been to Harvard, and he had also taught in Stanford. So he had good exposure to case method. So he took the initiative of formally including cases. So I remember those days, we had a trimester system. So in each course, we used to teach 6 cases, which was, those cases were mentioned in the session plan, and all the cases were given to each student in the beginning of the trimester. So it worked very well. And later on, other universities also started adopting it. Well, in a way, what we can say, turnaround happened after Government of India invited the private sector to set up engineering and management schools. That was in 1992-93, around that, 93-94. And many business schools were established, promoted by the private sector. See, although there were some institutions promoted by the trusts, private trusts, but they were few, like Narsimonji was already there, which was established around 1980. Then Symbiosis was already there, which was also established around that. So there were some initiatives like that, but very few. But on the other hand, it was felt at that time, since 1991 is the time when we opened up the economy. So it was felt that more professionals are required in industry. Industry needs more professionals. And the number of institutions that time were not producing enough number of students. You see, that time, I remember 89, 90, around that, there were hardly 120 business schools in the country. And out of those 120, most of them were university teaching departments. So the number of students in totality, which would pass out from these business schools, 120 or so, was very limited. And out of them, majority would prefer to join industry. So very few would come to education. Whereas when new business schools were established 93, 94 onwards, large number of business schools were established. What many authors have coined it as mushrooming of business schools happened. So by the year 2000, that means within 6-7 years, we crossed the number of 2000 institutions. Whereas in 89, 90, it was only 120. So when we reached the year 2000, we had crossed 2000 business schools approved by AICTE. Therefore, the concern was that faculty, where will faculty come from? So we're not having very large number of faculty who were MBA at that time. So you had to depend on the allied discipline. So people from allied disciplines had to join and teach business school. But at the same time, methodology varied. For example, in commerce also leadership is taught. But the way it is taught in commerce and the way it is taught in management is poles apart, totally different. Approach is totally different. In commerce, approach is more theoretical in that sense, whereas in management, it has to be more practice-oriented. Therefore, students need to be, or teachers even need to be well-versed with that bridge, the bridge between theory and practice. So at that time, the only mouthpiece of business education in India was AIMS, Association of Indian Management Schools, which was established in 1988. And the AIMS used to conduct a lot of faculty development programs with the support of CIDA, Canadian International Development Agency, and CCMS, Canadian Consortium of Business Schools, Management Schools. So many programs which were held at that time were supported by these, particularly CIDA. Money used to come from CIDA, so they were free. Say, I also attended case writing workshop in the headquarter of AIMS. Headquarter of AIMS was IIM in Bangalore. So I attended it in June 1990, when AIMS was even less than 2 years old. So it was a good experience, great experience. We had faculty from Canada only. 2 professors, very senior professors, had traveled from Canada, and they were the resource persons. It was a 1-week program. So in IIM, 1 week means 5 days. So throughout the workshop, we wondered that what are we learning? See, the books were given, good case material was given. But some of us were already in profession for a long time. For instance, I was already a reader in the university department, that is IMS. Another colleague, Dr. Parashar, he was also a reader in IGNO. He is the same Parashar who later on became the director of IIM Indore. So we wondered that we are already teaching for more than 10 years or so. Have we come only to know what is the case? So what was in the board, in the workshop, what was being discussed? What is a case? How cases are made, developed, written? And then how can you use these cases? But then there was no practical orientation. Nobody developed any case during the workshop. Similarly, coming back to 20 or so, to 94 onwards, when many business schools came up, there were other organizations also which used to organize case writing workshops, like not workshops, case seminars or case method teaching, etc. For example, IGNO. IGNO was a newly established university, had a newly established business management department. They organized some programs. IIM Ahmedabad organized some programs. So some efforts were made here in the IMA, All India Management Association, which was established in 1957. It's one of the oldest professional bodies in the country. They also used to organize some programs on case method. But everywhere, what was happening, senior professors were invited who had some exposure to case method, who had attended either ITP or had done MBA in United States. They would come and they would simply deliver a lecture. So it was more lecture based than any kind of hands-on experience. So some of us felt that no, in 1990 itself, when I attended in June 1990, see, actually, it should be workshop based in the sense, although that was also called workshop, which we attended, but no one was given exposure to actually write the case. So I resolved that if we can organize a workshop, similar workshop, but then it has to be experience based. The people, the participants should be able to write the cases. Instead of, because they're all teachers, so instead of saying what is a case and so on, we need to actually have hands-on practice. And some teachers also use the cases. So need to have exposure of different kind. So in 1996, July 1996, when I joined Prestige Institute of Management and Research as director, one of the agenda, I joined as director from NITI. I was professor at NITI, Bombay, which is a national institute that was established in 1963 by United Nations. One of the institutions of importance in the country. So I was working as professor there. So from there, I joined Prestige as director in 1996. So one of the agenda points was to organize such a workshop where faculty gets an opportunity to write the case, actually write the case, so that by the end of the workshop, they go back with the satisfaction that we have created something. We have contributed to the field of management education. So in May 1997, first workshop was organized for 3 days. Before announcing the workshop, I took the advice of my senior teachers, my senior colleagues who were professors, who had some of them had done MBA abroad, some of them had done attended this ITP and so on. So in general, I had a plan to conduct the program for 3 days, keeping in view that many institutions may not be able to spare faculty for a long time, even for 1 week. So therefore, I designed the workshop for 3 days. So before announcing it, when I took the advice, most of the people were very discouraging. They said, no, how can you write a case in 3 days? That's not possible. Then they would give their story. You see, when I went to Harvard 15 years back, 20 years back, I took 6 months to write a case. So I took 1 month to understand what is a case. How can you write in 3 days? Like that, such comments were made. But then I didn't go back. I took it as a challenge. And first workshop was organized in May 1997, though I was not sure whether we will be able to do it. Even the participants didn't know. We had participants from all over the country. And to everybody's pleasant surprise, by the end of the 3rd day, we had developed the cases, we had written the cases equivalent to the number of groups that we had. So it was a pleasant experience. And thereafter, we edited those cases and registered with the then European Case Clearing House. It's a clearing house where you can register your case so that nobody copies your case. So in a way, it becomes copyright. And it is exposed for global use. So then we organized another workshop in December 97, and then it went on. So we thought and we decided that there we will be conducting 2 workshops every year, come what may. And with God's grace, so far, we have not given any break. These 2 big workshops are conducted every year. Even during COVID, we shifted to online. And that online thing is even today continuing. That's what we are doing today. So successfully cases were conducted. Now, what was encouraging was that most of these cases, all of them were registered with the European Case Clearing House, which was later on, the name was changed. It became the Case Center. So there are, you will find in the website of Case Center or say website of European Case Clearing House, large number of cases which were developed during these workshops, and they are registered there. They give a number, registration number, etc. Not only that, I just started receiving these requests from international publishers to permit for inclusion of some of these cases in their textbooks. Then Indian context also, it was very encouraging when the father figure of organizational behavior and management at that time, Professor Uday Parekh, included some of these cases in his textbook. Similarly, other authors later on also included these cases in their text, like Biswajit Patnaik has been including these cases in every edition of some of his books. So, keeping that success in view, we felt that yes, we are on the right track. Interestingly, even some of the IIM professors have attended these cases, where we normally believe that IIM professors are well versed with this method. They are using, even IIM professors have used, like one of the participants was Professor Pulak Das. Pulak Das is a senior professor in IIM Calcutta. Even he attended one of the workshops. Then many of the participants who attended these workshops at that time are now in IIMs or departments of management of IITs. For example, Dr. Prashant Misra has been with IIM Calcutta for more than 15 years. He has also attended these before joining IIM. Or you have Mala Srivastava, or many other. There are some in IIT Madras, then IIT Roorkee, Santosh Rangnekar, and there are many such examples who joined these institutions later on. So it paid the dividends to them in a way. It enriched this experience, enriched their profile. And of course, it is learning which they have been applying there also. So this is the background how this series of workshops start. Besides these two workshops happening every year, there are many institutions which have invited us to conduct the workshop for their faculty. Or they wanted to organize and they have included faculty from other institutions also. For example, similar workshop we did on the request of Symbiosis International University for all Symbiosis institutions in Pune, Symbiosis International University. Similarly for Narsi Monji, long back. Then Regional College of Management, Bhubaneswar, New Horizon College of Management, Bangalore, D.Y. Patil, Pune, many other such institutions organize, and we conduct these workshops. So I think now this has always been 3 days workshops. Sometimes we have conducted 4 days also, but mostly in 3 days workshops. And it has number of these 3-day workshops is already crossed 70 now. And as I said, more than 2,000 faculty have been benefited. And in 2013, American Society for Engineering Management, during their annual international conference, invited me to conduct a session on case method. Interestingly, see, case method came from USA, but they had invited a person from India to talk about it, and which was done successfully. And these are the experiences. This is the background. Now let me tell you what we have to do. You see, during this period of 26 years now, running 26, we have developed a method for writing the cases, which we call 4D model. 4D model. See, most of these cases which have been developed, those cases which were developed till 2015, have been published in the form of books also. First book was published in 2002. including all those cases which were developed till then. That means 97 to 2002. Then second book came in 2007, which had 2 volumes, including all the cases which were developed during 2002 and 2007. Then third book came in 2015, including all those cases which were developed between 2017 and 2015. Now, next book is due, in which we'll be including all those cases which were written during 2007 to till now. In now, 2015 till now. 15 till now means now 7 years again. See, over the period of time, we developed a method, 4D model. First D, in other words, we divide the whole workshop into 4 phases. This 4D model is simply an indicator of 4 phases of the workshop. First phase, that is D, first D, refers to data and information collection. Data and information collection. Then second D refers to drafting of the case. Then third D refers to discussing the case thoroughly, so that in case there is any kind of bias, that bias is removed and so on. And the fourth D is documentation. So here the documentation means publication, to publish the case, so that it is disseminated, it reaches everybody, it reaches most of the people, so that most of the people use these cases in their class of MBA, even nowadays class of BBA, even in management development programs and so on and so forth. So today we will be having first D immediately after this session, that is from 2 o'clock onwards, 2 to 5, but then there is no restriction on time. In case you feel that more time is required, you can continue. And one thing you have to remember, that whatever is to be done in a particular phase, that is to be done in that phase only. We cannot repeat. Say, for example, D1, first D, you will get the opportunity to collect the data and information from a representative of an industry. During this workshop, you will not get another opportunity to meet him or her. So whatever information you have to collect, which is relevant, that is to be done within that phase. Though we schedule it for 3 hours, but sometimes it may be 4 hours, 5 hours. And these days online has made it more, it has made it easier. So don't be in a hurry to complete this session, because that is you have to do data collection in data and information collection during that session only. So coordinator of the workshop has already fixed up the appointment with various representatives of the industry, of the companies, and you will be, and the groups have also been divided, groups have been made. Groups are not made based on area of interest. That means we are not to be fussy about that. I am from marketing, so I will be in marketing. I am from finance, I should be in finance. I am from HR, I should be in HR. No, there is, because workshop is not on that. Workshop is on developing the writing skills. And today, every faculty is expected to be versatile. No one can claim that I am a marketing man only, so I know marketing only. Then you are misfit. You have to, because marketing is not the discipline. Discipline is management. And within management, we have these functional areas. Therefore, we have to, a man from marketing should also know basics of finance. That's what we do in MBA. When we teach MBA, basics of finance are taught. Similarly, a person from finance is also taught basics of marketing. All students are taught about the basics of HR in terms of organizational behavior, human resource management, and so on. So everyone has to remember that we are from management discipline, not marketing, finance. Those are functional areas. So we have to have the versatility. Therefore, groups will be mixed. In a particular group, there may be a person who teaches marketing, there may be another person who teaches organizational behavior, there may be another person who teaches finance. It doesn't matter. So together, you have to work together as team. So coordinator must have already communicated to you, or he will be communicating to you, that who will be the industry representative. And there will be breakaway groups after this session from 2 o'clock onwards. And each group will have the opportunity to meet a company representative, interact with him or her, and draw and extract the maximum possible information. And then keep on noting down. So there are certain do's and don'ts which you need to remember. One do is that, first of all, when we meet the company representative, we should build the rapport with them. Rapport establishment is very important. That is the first requirement. We cannot simply start bombarding the person with our questions. Therefore, it is better to develop the rapport, tell the person who we are, what is our purpose, although coordinator has already briefed the company representative, but still, as a gesture of reassurance, you can tell him or her that we are all teachers and we are here to write a case which is based on the real experience of a person. And we are simply going to use it as a method, because in management, we use case as a method. Even now, case is not restricted to management education only, even in commerce, psychology, even in engineering. Now, case method is entering. So case method even is mentioned in our national education policy. So implementation plan includes case method, gamification, and so on. So irrespective of discipline, we have to understand how to capture it. So first do is build the rapport with the industry representative. Now, second requirement or do is that we should start asking questions one by one, probing questions, so that the industry representative is able to focus and share some of his first-hand experience. So what is requirement? Requirement is it should be first-hand experience. It should not be hearsay. Sometimes it happens, a company representative may be new to the company. So he may prefer to share one of his experiences of the older company. Fine, that also can be done, but it has to be first-hand experience. That happens sometimes, but mostly company representatives share their experiences of the same company. So first-hand experience, they need to share. One by one, you would be asking so that he can, without breaking his focus. So see, there are certain don'ts also. But before going to don'ts, another requirement, another do is that we should note down whatever he says. See, many times we have seen there is a tendency that if one person is noting down, other person feels that he is noting down, so I need not to know. Don't do that. See, none of us is a stenographer. Therefore, see, as you know, speed of thoughts is more than the speed of motor nerves, that means speed of our hands, speed of our fingers, speed of our writing. Therefore, if I have missed anything, and if another person is also noting down, so I will find out later on in phase 2 that he has noted. Therefore, we will not miss the content of what representative has said. Therefore, all the members of the team should note down. Even if everybody is noting down the same, don't worry about that. Because later on you will realize there may be certain missing links, but while exchanging your notes, you will be able to overcome that difficulty. So everyone should know. Further, so far as the don'ts is concerned, one, we should not start arguing with the company representative. Argumentation should not be done. Don't argue. So it should be more in a discussion mode. Discussion mode is more flexible in comparison to argumentation. See, argumentation is a decision method, but it's also an established method which is used in legal education and legal practice. In the court of law, argumentation is used. It's a method, established method. Nothing wrong in it, but it is the appropriate method there. So one person tries to prove that my contention is right, other person or other advocate tries to prove his contention is right. That is okay. But here in case method, we use what we call discussion mode or discussion method. That means discussion method is always flexible. We may reach it to a point where we may not be exactly going what X is saying or Y is saying. We may have a third point of view. So we have to have the discussion mode, not the argumentation mode, while discussing with the company representative. So you have to remember it, because sometimes it does happen. You see, once a participant case method participant started arguing with the company representative. Say, representative of the company said something that we did it this way. Then one of the participants said, no, how can you do it? That is wrong. You cannot do it. But don't do that. Don't question. Don't question what they have done. So we have simply to note down and be with all the humility, and then don't argue. Second don't is we should not overlap the questions. Say one of us has asked the question, let us give time to the respondent to respond, representative to respond. So it should not happen, and it happens many times, so we have to take care. One person has asked the question, before company representative would respond, another person bombards with another question. That should not happen. With the result, neither you will get answer nor the person will get answer. So when a question has been asked, wait, let him think and respond. Similarly, when second question has been asked, so let the person respond. Third person should not overlap the questioning. So one question at a time, and let the person respond. And then further on, in between, we should do the paraphrasing. Paraphrasing is a communication skill. Communication skill, that means we restate what the person has said, company representative has said. So, sir, excuse me, or madam, excuse me, well, you said this, have I understood correctly? This is called paraphrasing. It's a communication skill. This should be done in between. It also, there's two purposes are served. One, we are able to understand the context in the right perspective. Secondly, it breaks the monotony. Monotony is also broken. So further on, we should not keep on looking at our watch. That gives an indication to the company representative that we want to wind up, so we are not interested. Don't do that. So we are takers, we are not givers in this communication. Therefore, we should be relaxed and note down and gather as much information as possible. See, earlier days when we used to do it, say 20 years back, that time it used to be, they used to share some of their published documents and so on, balance sheet, annual report, whatever. But now that is not required. They would always tell you, go to a website, you will get such and such information. So some information may take from website, but be careful. Website is ultimately a face of the organization where it is more in terms of language, is more in terms of promotion. It's a promotional language. So we have to be careful about that, because in a case, we have to capture the matter of fact information. That is important. Now, lastly, see, there are two ways of presenting the case. One is that we give the actual name of the company, actual names of the persons, actual figures, financial figures, and so on. But for that, we need written permission of the company. If written permission is given by the company, then we can use actual names. And generally, wherever there is a success story or wherever there is a strategic management case, they do allow. So you will find many cases in the name of the companies that we have, for example, Nirma Limited, JK Corp, Reliance Industries, so many. But those are mostly success stories. Here, many times, the person with whom you are interacting, or the office that they may be having here, they may not be having the authority to give you written permission. So in that case, we can disguise the case. Disguising means we change the name of the case, title of the name of the company, we change the name of the persons, we proportionately change the financial figures and so on. Intention is to honor the confidentiality of the organization. That is very important. That confidentiality should be maintained. And we should also close the session with the company representative with this message that, well, we will not be able to have another interaction with you during this workshop, but in case we have any queries, say tomorrow we'll be having second phase. That is, we'll be devoting the whole day on writing, or what we call drafting the case. In case we have any query, if we have missed anything, we'll be getting in touch with our mobile. So kindly provide us that information. So with that, we should close the session. And with that, today's first day will be over. But I repeat, whatever is to be done in a particular phase, that is to be finished in that phase only, because no phase will be repeated. Tomorrow when we meet again, so we'll be reviewing what you have been able to get, what you have been able to gather from the company representative. So again, tomorrow 11:30 we will meet for an hour or so to review what kind of material you have got and what kind of case you'll be able to make. Because you see, cases can be broadly divided into two types. One is a historical case, and another is a problem or issue-based case. In a historical case, we give the complete picture, what had happened and then how company had handled it and the problem was over. So whole history, that is called a historical case. Whereas a problem or issue-based case is one where we close the case with an issue or with a problem. That this happened, what now? So the manager concerned wondered, what should I do now? So that is called a problem or issue-based case. So based on the contents, you will be able to make out based on the information that you receive. You'll be able to decide whether it will be a problem or issue-based case or a historical case. So, so far as writing part is concerned, what are do's and don'ts, that we'll be discussing tomorrow. But and we will also, after review, we will discuss that. Review and discussion on second phase will be happening tomorrow. But today, you have to focus on gathering as much information as possible. So intention is, see here, you have to remember, there is a basic difference between a case and a fiction. See, in a fiction, author has total freedom to go to any extent. He may build a story from the reality, but then he may go away. For example, in a fiction, hero may jump from 20th floor of a building, 20, and then start running. That's what happens in films and all such stories. That may happen in a fiction. So imagination to any extent. But in a case, it can't happen. Case has to be 100% realistic, based on the facts. We cannot start with facts and then go to Mungeri Lal ki dunya mein nahi ja sakte. Mungeri Lal ki dunya mein case method mein nahi ja sakte. You have to write the facts. Stick to the facts as shared by the company representative. So that care you have to take, so that you take the complete information from the company representative. Don't leave it halfway. You cannot fill in the blanks. And when all of you are noting down what he is saying, note down verbatim. Even if he is speaking incorrectly, don't worry at that time. Don't evaluate at that time. Note down. So as you know, this is one of the barriers to communication, isn't it? Which is naturally happening in every case or around the world. What happens when somebody is speaking? While he has just started speaking, we start evaluating. So ye ki galat hai. With the result, we are not able to absorb all that he says or she says. Pehle decide kare to bekar. That happens. And it becomes a barrier for effective communication. So we should not do that. Don't evaluate that time when he is saying anything, whatever he is sharing, he or she is sharing. Simply note down verbatim. Verbatim means as it is. Even if he is repeating, don't worry, note down. That is very important. So verbatim recording, verbatim noting down is very important. And tomorrow, when you will be in the second phase, second D, that is drafting. That time you'll be exchanging notes within your group, and you'll be writing, and you'll see if there is any repetition there. You will not repeat. And if I have missed anything, so other member might have noted down, so we will include it. So case basically is simply a narration. Case means what? The definition is, how do we define a case? Case means a chronological narration. Case is a chronological narration of a situation. ये definition है case का. Case method में जो हम पहली अगर हम definition समझना चाहे in a management case, so a management case is a chronological narration of a situation. That's a very simple definition to remember. So this is how you will have to proceed. Well, those if a company representative, we cannot insist that नहीं सब आप finance का ही share करिए या आप marketing का ही share करिए, आप HR no. It is his choice or her choice because he has to share first-hand experience. So first-hand experience जो भी उसका हो, वो irrespective of the area, doesn't matter. So we have to note down and accordingly weave the case. It is weaving process. जैसे वो बनियान बुनते हैं ना, उसी तरह से you have to weave it based on the facts that you have gathered. So that is all from my side. If you have any questions, you may ask.
Participants can please type the question so that I can ask to Honorable Sir.
No, why they are not visible? Every member should have been visible. In gallery, every member should have been visible.
I'll just check it out, sir.
Only 3 of us are visible. So actually, all of the participants should have been visible. So that we could also take the introduction of the participants and see eye to eye and discuss. So ऐसे तो discussion हो ही नहीं पाएगा. So you have to ask the IT people, you must have a link so that all people are visible. Then only we can discuss, they can ask questions directly, I can answer directly. इस तरह से नहीं होगा, गलत दिया है. चलिए, question किसी का?
हाँ sir, there is one engineer who says how this case method is useful for engineers.
It is very much useful that there are many engineering situations where a case can be developed and we can learn from that case. For example, how a dam was constructed. What were the difficulties which were encountered? How were those difficulties encountered? How that dam became a successful project. So we can learn from that case. Similarly, there can be any other example, say a bridge. A bridge has been constructed. And then what were the difficulties? What were the problems, technical issues for constructing the bridge? And then what were how were those difficulties overcome? Similarly, about a machine new machine was procured by a company. And then how people started working on it, how training was beneficial, and if training was not given, say for example, then what were the failures, what were the problems that were encountered. So when new machine was handled by people who were already trained, how far effectiveness and productivity increased. So point is, any situation, even in an engineering context, can be taken for understanding the technical issues. And that's what is happening these days. Even case method is used in technical institutions also now. Jerry, next question.
No question, sir.
तो ये होगा because see, there is no direct interface. See, in this session, there should be direct interface. All people should be visible. जितने भी लोग हैं, say इसमें मेरे को दिख रहा है 19 people. All 19 should be visible, so that we can directly interact with each other.
There is one more question coming up, sir.
Huh?
Being a content writer, this is my first experience of attending such workshop. Can I get maximum benefit from it?
Yes, why not? Because how to write a case, this is the exposure for writing a case. Because writing a theoretical, having any content on theory is different. There you take the ideas from various resources, various textbooks, various journals, and then you write. But here, your source is the actual experience of a company representative. So based on the actual experience, how to weave the case, how to write the case. So writing skills are also developed while drafting the cases. So yes, even a content writer will be directly benefited.
Abhisheka, you can talk to sir if you want.
Abhishek, I should be able to see all the participants.
Abhisheka, sir. She is Abhisheka Soni.
Huh?
Abhisheka Soni.
Batai.
Her name is Abhisheka Soni. Abhisheka, please unmute and talk to sir.
Now, who is the technical hand for this session?
Sir, Shadab was there actually. He has gone to something. Maybe I'll speak to him.
Usko bolo bhai sabko connect karo. We should be able to see all. Only one person ka hai ye Sony ka. So she has any question?
Good afternoon, sir.
Puche.
Yes, sir. I have asked about I'm a content writer. So how the case, this workshop will be beneficial. And one more thing, this is my first experience. So any prerequisite we require for the proceeding, or we can go, nothing prerequisite or preconditions are required.
You see, as a content writer, you will have a direct advantage of learning how to write a case. That means how to capture the reality. Because here, in a case method, we also, some authors also call it a simulation. That means we simulate the reality. We bring reality to the class. For bringing reality to the class, writing skills are very important. So you should be able to write appropriately. You should be able to write in such a way so that the actual crux of the experience of the company representative is not lost. So writing skills, that is in drafting stage, you will see you have a direct role, and you will be learning how to capture the reality. And that too in a matter-of-fact language, not in a journalistic. See, here we have to take care while we are writing. We have not to use the journalistic approach. It is not like breaking news. We have to write it in a matter-of-fact language, in a narration, chronological narration. So those who are content writers, yes, they will be directly benefited. Jali, any other question? Uche, you know.
Dr. Padma.
Sir, I wish to ask over here. Good morning, sir. Namaskar, sir.
Uche.
Yes, sir. I wish to ask whether tense also is being important with language as past or future, it should be written. Sometimes
Yes.
we talk with the people, we get in the inputs that it is happening now. So what language we should?
Although
verb.
this will be, this is required for the tomorrow's session, that is D2. Yes, language tense is important. You should write in past tense. Why? that prolongs the life of the case. If you write in present tense, then after 2 years, it will be obsolete. But if you are writing in the past tense, because in any case, you are capturing the past, what has actually happened. Therefore, so far as tense is concerned, it should be past tense.
Right. And
So the next question. Uche, yes, Padma, you have any question?
No,
You have
sir.
attended
All clear.
You have attended number of workshops. So
Yes.
you are master yourself.
Yes, sir. This is the best opportunity to develop a case in 5 days, and it is happening online. What better than this?
Okay, Pawan, you have any question?
Yes, sir. Actually, I am interested in this case writing to teach the student how for the textile perspective. So I thought for an example is Bardhaman, how Bardhaman grow, that can be treated as a case method.
Yes, there can be a case on a company itself. Say how Vardhman, for example, Vardhman, how Vardhman has been progressing, or how they have been able to beat the competition, how they have been able to adopt the technology. And with the technological advancement, they have excelled in a way. They are surviving, and at the same time, they have great plans for the future. Yes, there are cases, as I gave an example. So there are cases on Reliance Industries, there are cases on Nirma Limited, there are cases on JK Corp, there are cases on JK Tire. So yes, case can be developed on an organization also having an overall view of the company.
And sometimes we are teaching for the machines also. So there are different models are coming in the years. So we can also make a case that what are the issues are there in the previous machines and what are the overcomes are there.
Yes, we can write that how a particular model overcame the deficiencies of the previous model.
Okay.
How it worked better, how it filled the gaps, and so on and so forth. Yes, cases can be developed. Now in engineering also, case method is being used.
Okay, sir.
Chaliye पूछे, Vikas Sharma, you have any question?
Yes, good morning, sir. Sir, my question is, how should we write the name of author's name?
Again, it pertains to tomorrow's session. See, author's name, you have to mutually decide. Members
Okay.
of the group will decide. One way is to write the names alphabetically. Other way is to write the names as per the seniority. Another way is as per the contribution. Or if you are not able to decide, you can use lottery method. Put your names in small slips, and then third party can pick up the slips, and then in that order you can do it. But normally that doesn't happen. Normally it is mutually decided. And it happens sometimes as per seniority, sometimes as per the contribution, extent of contribution made by each member.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Chaliye, anybody else has any question?
yes, sir, one thing comes in my mind that with the case, we think that something wrong or something had happened in any industry. So that's why the problem has been needed to be right over here. But simple success stories or simple happenings can be also a case.
Of course, see, like most of these cases in strategic management are success stories. That's why companies do not hesitate in giving their actual name. So a case can be based on any kind of experience. It may not be necessarily failure. It may be a success. It may be advancement. Like Pawan was mentioning, a company has brought in new machine. So how that machine performed and how it overcame the deficiencies of the previous model. So that way also done. So case does not mean necessarily there is a problem and then we have worked on it. Case means how advancement has taken place, how change has happened in an organization, how conflicts have been handled, and so on and so forth. Okay, any other question? Rachna Jain. You have to unmute kariye.
Yeah, good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon.
Sir, my question is whether, as sir asked, that always we have to take care of that problems. So if there is like when we talk about someone's experience for the whole life, that these are the different phases of his or her life, and he achieved in different phases like this, and he sort out the problems in the different phases. So can we take these kind of things in the case also?
Why not? That can also happen. It can be a person based. For example, you can develop a case based on the life of Narayan Murthy.
Okay.
Develop a case based on an entrepreneur, how an entrepreneur started, what were the difficulties that he encountered, and then how he progressed. And then you would see at the end of the story that life is full of challenges. It does not end with one stage. At one phase, you may be having one kind of challenge. At another phase, you may have another kind of challenge. So challenges continue, and that gives the kick that makes you to go on. So therefore, we may not necessarily start with the problem. We may also think about going ahead, how to go ahead, how to survive. So in that case, in a way, how to survive. When we ask a question, now what solution company has sought? So you weave a case on that.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much, sir.
Shall anybody else? Shivang Dwivedi. Shivang, you have any question? Login करके चले गए क्या?
No, sir. He is got disconnected. Just he is going to connect within a minute, sir.
Put on your camera.
Good afternoon. Actually, there was some technical issue, sir.
Okay, Puche, you have any question?
Actually, I asked the representative will brief each and everything. So my question is that what information we should consider, and maybe there could be information we should leave it. So how to filter the information? Means what is important and what type of information should be left out?
Question is not clear. आपका voice clear नहीं आ रहा है.
जैसे जो रिप्रेजेंटेटिव है वो जो हमको इंफॉर्मेशन देंगे, तो मेरा ये कहना था कि इंफॉर्मेशन हम कैसे ये कंसीडर करें कि कौन सी इंफॉर्मेशन हमारे लिए इम्पोर्टेंट है, किस इंफॉर्मेशन को हम एक बार लेफ्ट आउट कर सकते हैं.
No, that's what I'm saying. At that time, when you are interacting with the company representative, you have not to evaluate. You have not to decide what to write and what not to write. At that time, whatever he is sharing, you have to note down. Even if आपको लगे ये connected नहीं है, doesn't matter. तब भी note करिए, because this selection of what to retain, what not to retain, that will happen tomorrow. That is while you are drafting the case.
Okay. Okay.
चलिए, और कोई क्वेश्चन है किसी को?
सर एक क्वेश्चन ऑडियंस से आ रहा है कि हाउ टू इन्वॉल्व स्टूडेंट टू लिसन अबाउट द केस. मतलब ये पूछना चाह रहे हैं कि मींस is there any body language which can be explained, which can be interesting for the students when we make a case? ऐसा बता.
See, case method में, case method is student centered method. It is not faculty centered method. So you have to give cases beforehand, before the session begins, to the participants or the students. They are supposed to go through it thoroughly, understand it, and analyze it. Then based on that analysis, they are prepared, they are supposed to make a write-up and come to class with the write-up for discussion. So case method is student-centered method, and faculty functions only as a facilitator. So in this case, case method, faculty is a facilitator. So question of body language is not there. It is a student who has to be in command. So a student who has prepared the write-up, who has analyzed the case, he will be allotted to a particular group of students. They will discuss within themselves. and then each group will make a presentation, and finally the case will be discussed in the class as a whole, and at the end the faculty or the facilitator will help the students in understanding the link between theory and practice. That's how a case is to be taught. So in case teaching also, there are 4 phases. In first phase, individual analysis is recorded, individual analysis of the participants or students. In second phase, participants are divided into groups. So within those groups, they share their analysis, they discuss amongst themselves and note down the commonalities and choose a representative. Then in third phase, a representative of each group makes a presentation before the class, and anybody in the class can ask questions, and representative can answer those questions. He can also take the help of his group mates, and that's how discussion goes on. And faculty as a facilitator helps them in say stopping a particular group at a particular point and asking another group to come forward. So like that, faculty as a facilitator ensures that most of the students or most of the groups get the opportunity to present the case and discuss the case in the class. Therefore, after that means 3 phases. First phase, individual analysis. Second phase, group analysis. Third phase, presentation in the whole class, that is macro. And then fourth phase, faculty will try help or facilitate the students or participants in bringing about a bridge, understanding a bridge between theory and practice. That is theoretical model and the case. For example, if the case is on leadership and one of the models, say Hersey Blanchard, fits in well, so he will facilitate them how Hersey Blanchard fits well. But then at the same time, we have to, as teachers, as facilitators, we must always remember no case has single answer. So it is not there, it is unlike mathematics. In mathematics, a teacher can say, this is the answer which you are not getting, so you are wrong. You get 0 out of 10. It is not so in the case of a case method. In case method, anyone can have a different view. See, 4 managers may solve same problem differently. But what is important is solution. And here in case method, what is important is rationality. Any student who is able to logically explain what he means, fine, that's okay. So even teacher or facilitator in the last phase, 4 phase, will not emphasize that what I am saying that is final answer or that is the only right answer. No, he will only facilitate in understanding the bridge between the theoretical model and what is given in the case. That is all. So no final answer to a case. Leave it to the individual thinker to evolve a solution his own way. Charlie, any other question? All right, then we can close this session here, and all the groups should meet the company representative from 2 o'clock onwards in their individual links. So for that, Manish will be guiding you. So everybody has to be independent so that one group does not disturb other group. So each group will have an independent connection. Each group will have an independent group. So far as the online grouping is concerned, and you discuss at length that today focus on gathering as much information as possible, because it will not be repeated. And tomorrow we will again meet at 11:30, and we'll share what each group has been able to collect and what kind of case is possible. And then if there are any questions, we will discuss that, and you will then from 2 o'clock onwards tomorrow, focus on drafting the case. Whole case is to be drafted. Okay, so we close it here.
Surely, sir.
You can guide them. Have you communicated the names of the groups?
Yes, sir.
All right. So all the groups should meet at 2 o'clock onwards, and company representative has company representative link. Each company representative will be having different link.
Surely, sir.
So that also you should ensure as coordinator.
Sure.
And so my one group is with me. So again, they will be meeting me, send me the link also. And 2
Sir,
o'clock,
kindly share me time when we can connect you.
2 o'clock onwards.
Sure.
And every time, whether it is group discussion or all of us meeting together, we should be able to see each other.
Sure.
We should be able to talk to each other. We should be able
Sure.
to interact. Then only purpose serves. Simply वो Facebook वाला नहीं होगा. One is speaking and then questions box में आ रहे हैं. That will not work. It
Sure.
has to be direct question answer, direct interaction.
That's fine.
Okay, I'm closing it here. So
Sure.
my group will meet me at 2 o'clock.
Sure.
And so far as all of us are concerned, we will meet again tomorrow at 11:30.
Sure.
Okay.
Thank you very much, sir. Thank you very much.
Manish sir.
जी बताइए.
Manish sir.
हाँ, मनीष
Yes, ma'am.
ये इसमें हमको कितने बजे मिलना है?
मैम 2 बजे का आपका समय है मैम.
2 बजे का. ठीक. So you have told somebody to make the link और उनके साथ शेयर करने के लिए.
जी जी मैम.
हमारा
आपके ग्रुप में मैडम एक तृप्ति तंवर है. मैडम तृप्ति तंवर, शी विल बी हेल्पिंग यू आउट हियर. आपको ग्रुप
she has sent it to the coordinator from that side जो भी है वहाँ पर.
जी 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 मैम, उनसे बात भी
तो
हो
मेरे
गया
पे है पद्मा.
जी.
Padma, you are in my group. Yes.
Yes, ma'am.
Padma, Trapti and Yogesh Mahajan.
जी जी मैम.
Actually ना शक्ल में तो कोई दिखता नहीं है. खाली except for Padma, I can see my group members. All right.